December the 5th, 2025, after what was honestly a very, very long and at times confusing draw process, the FIFA World Cup draws are complete, the groups are known, and Africa is ready. 9 teams seal their spots automatically for the tournament. And after that insane penalty shootout against Nigeria, DR Congo have a chance to become the 10th team through the intercontinental playoffs, as long as they can beat either New Caledonia or Jamaica. For the first time ever, there will probably be 10 African nations at a World Cup. It's an expanded format, 48 teams, 2 teams from each group would advance to the next round, as well as some of the best third place teams. This is Africa's moment to make a mark on the global stage as a continent. Yes, we know what Morocco did last time, but can multiple African nations shock the world this time? It's never been a better opportunity than now. Yes, yes, yes. This is a Nigerian channel. And I know it is a big shame that the Super Eagles of Nigeria will not be there. But I personally will be rooting for the rest of Africa. Yes, yes, even Ghana. I'll be rooting for Ghana. But I'm going to give you a caveat. I'm not going to lie to you. If Ghana should lose any match or when they lose, I will still laugh at them. But I will be supporting them as per Team Africa. But I would laugh. It's the way you can support your brother, but still banter your brother if something happens to him. So let's break down every group and I'll talk about what I think are their chances of progressing to the next round and see who I think will fly Africa's flag in the knockout round. But before I do so, I want to just call to you to please, please, please hit the like button on the video because it is very easy to forget if you say you want to watch the rest of the video first. Please hit the like button. And if you are new here, subscribe to the channel because Eagle Striker brings you extensive coverage of Nigerian football, African football, and everything in between. Here are the teams that will be going to the World Cup representing the Confederation of African Football. We have Algeria, Cape Verde, Egypt, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Morocco, Senegal, South Africa, Tunisia, and maybe DR Congo. There is at least one European team in every group. And honestly, there are some interesting matchups upon us in this tournament. Let's talk about the groups. South Africa in Group A, they are matched up against the host nation, Mexico, or one of the host nations in Mexico, South Korea, and a team from UEFA Playoff D. Bafana Open kick off the entire tournament in Mexico City. And boy, we cannot forget the opening day game at the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa between South Africa and Mexico. It was an extremely entertaining 1-1 draw with Sifue Shabalala opening the tournament with a banger of a goal, and then unfortunately Marquez equalized for Mexico later in the game. Dashing the hopes of South Africa, dashing the hopes of Africa. But now South Africa, Bafana are back on the global stage, back at the FIFA World Cup, and they will be hoping to be the ones this time to upset the host nation. There's also South Korea with the likes of Son Heung-min, the likes of Wang Gi-chan, and a very, very well-structured and organized side. It's not going to be easy. And then we have the winner of UEFA Playoff D, which will be one of the Czech Republic, Denmark, North Macedonia, or the Republic of Ireland. South Africa play a good brand of football. They have an exciting mix of experience and youth in their team. They have tricky, pacey players and decent enough defenders. I think South Africa have a very, very slim chance of winning the group, but they can sneak into second or maybe be one of the best third place teams. It is a long shot, but it is possible for Bafana. Slightly possible for Bafana. Moving on to Morocco, who are in Group C. This one is heavy. They face Brazil, Haiti, and Scotland. Of course, the Atlas Lions drew the glamour tie against Brazil. We know the history of Brazil in world football. That is going to be a huge game to watch. By then, I believe Hakimi will be fully fit. Brazil will have a solid squad with the likes of Estevão, Hakimi, and the rest of their players, Bruno Guimaraes, Alisson in goal. Such a stacked Brazilian side. That game, honestly, I think can go either way. Brazil will probably be the favorites, but we know Morocco can shock the world, but they shocked everybody in 2022. Beat Portugal, they got all the way to the semis. Like, Morocco is a good team. So I think that game can go anyway. The Haiti game and the Scotland game, very winnable. If Morocco play their best match, there is no reason why they shouldn't be beating Haiti. I know Scotland have fight in them, they have that dog in them, but there's no reason why Morocco should not be beating Scotland as well, in my opinion. They're still the highest ranked nation, and I think that this is Africa's best chance of maybe topping a group. I'm giving Morocco like a 70% chance that they finish first if they can upset Brazil, and they will definitely finish second at the very least. Dark horse for the semis again. I think Morocco have a very, very good team, and they have a very good chance for sure to leave their group and to go far in the tournament. In Group E, we have Cote d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast, against Germany, Ecuador, and Curacao. The Curacao game, I think that's 3 points in the bag. I don't think Ivory Coast have anything to worry about playing Curacao. Ecuador, a very inconsistent side. I definitely think that Ivory Coast can beat them. If I'm not mistaken, Senegal beat Ecuador in 2022. I think Ivory Coast have what it takes to beat Ecuador in 2026. And then Germany. The German team is a good team, but a rebuilding side. Germany can have a good day, they can have a bad day. I think that Ivory Coast have a good chance to acquire points in this group, even against Germany. They have quality players in their team. They have some trickery players. They have some physical monsters. I'm giving them like a 55, maybe 60% chance to advance. They probably would finish second behind Germany, but I think that Ivory Coast can and should make it through this group. Tunisia. We have Tunisia in Group F against the Netherlands, Japan, and the winner of the UEFA Playoff B path. Now, the UEFA Playoff B path is going to be one of Albania, Poland, Sweden, or Ukraine. I think that this is a tough group for sure for Tunisia. It's a tough group. Netherlands can be very good on their day, and some days they can be not so good, depending on the nights that you catch them. But of course, we know that the pedigree of the Netherlands with someone like Daniel Malen, with Memphis Depay, with Virgil van Dijk, with Van de Ven, they have quality in their side, and we have to appreciate that they have Xavi Simons as well. So it's going to be a tough game. They probably would lose against the Netherlands. Japan is always a tricky team to play against. Very organized, the likes of Minamino, the likes of Tanaka. But if Tunisia play a very good game, maybe they can snatch a draw, maybe. And then Albania, Poland, Sweden, or Ukraine. I think these are teams that Tunisia should be able to beat. Poland, not the strongest team, but also not a weak team. The Ukraine have a lot of dog in them. Albania, most one of those teams that always plays, almost seems like they're always playing for a draw. Sweden as well. It's going to be interesting to see. But I think that Tunisia can get maybe 6 points, maybe 5 points, maybe 4. If they lose against Netherlands, and then they win the other 2 games, maybe, they go through. I'll give them like a 50% chance of leaving this group. I think definitely they can beat the UEFA team, and then maybe they can snatch second or a third place spot. And then we have Egypt in Group G. Egypt are going up against Belgium, Iran, and New Zealand. In my opinion, this is probably the easiest group to qualify from as far as the African teams are concerned. I know I said Morocco will go through, but I think that's more so because of the quality that I believe Morocco have. But here, I just think that Iran and New Zealand don't really pose a threat. Belgium probably is a team that can beat Egypt, but Iran and New Zealand, I think, is almost a guaranteed 6 points for them. Iran like to play a defensive game, so obviously they're going to have to work hard to break them down a little bit. But with the quality in the Egyptian side, of course, they'll be led by Captain Mosala. I think that they should be able to get 6 points. In New Zealand, is not even a question. I think they beat New Zealand every day. And honestly, this Belgian team, consider them to be a fading golden generation of the Belgian national team. So if Egypt play a good game, they can draw, they can beat Belgium. I think of all the African groups or the groups with African teams, I think this is honestly the easiest one to qualify from. I honestly do think so. I'm giving them like a 90% chance of leaving this group and maybe like a 70% chance of actually winning the group. Egypt, see you in the round of 32. We have Cape Verde in Group H. Boy, Cape Verde are matched up against Spain, Uruguay, and Saudi Arabia. They have put the debutants in the shark tanks. fully in the shark tank. Look, Spain is a brutal draw for Cape Verde. I think this is going to be too difficult for them. Uruguay probably going to beat them as well, beat them fairly comfortably. And even Saudi Arabia is not an easy side. We saw Saudi Arabia shock Argentina in their opening fixture in the 2022 World Cup. Saudi Arabia will be looking at Cape Verde as the game that they must get their own 3 points if they're supposed to have any shot of qualifying from the group. So every match for Cape Verde is going to be very, very hectic. This is probably the worst draw of all the African nations. I know that Cape Verde is a small team, so any draw would have been difficult for them, but this, I think, is just brutal, in all honesty. They are going to seriously struggle. But again, they are a fairy tale team. Them qualifying for this World Cup was a fairy tale. So maybe, just maybe, anything is possible. I'll give them max a 10% chance of qualifying from this group. I think they have a 0%. I mean, okay, nothing is ever that definite. So I'll give them a 5% chance of maybe winning the group, 10% chance of qualifying somehow in first, second, or third. Even just a draw against Saudi Arabia would be historic for Cape Verde, considering they've not been here before. But yeah, it's going. In fact, even just stepping on the field is historic for them. I say see you at the end of the group stage, Cape Verde. It's not going to happen. And then in Group I, we have the Lions of Teranga, Senegal, against France, Norway, and then the winner of the Intercontinental Playoff 2, which is one of Bolivia, Suriname, or Iraq. Senegal, of course, is one of the stronger African sides. We know that many French internationals over the years have Senegalese heritage, so it will be an interesting game to watch. France, yes, stacked, absolutely stacked. The likes of Mbappe, the likes of Olise, Dembele, everywhere on their team, they just have quality players. But Senegal shocked a very, very stacked, maybe just as if not even more stacked French team in 2002. The likes of Trezeguet, the likes of Thierry Henry, of Lilian Thuram. So just maybe Senegal can shock the world and shock France again. It would be an interesting game to watch for several reasons. Norway, a good emerging team, obviously led by Erling Braut Haaland, probably the best striker in the world right now. They will not be an easy game or an easy team for Senegal to beat. But I think that if they play to their full potential, the Norwegian side is a team that Senegal have a chance against. I think that they have a chance to maybe get a draw at the very least or snatch a win against Norway. And then the third team, their third opponents, which is one of Bolivia, Suriname, or Iraq. Unfortunately, those are going to be the whipping boys of the group. They are going to probably lose all 3 matches. If it's Suriname, almost no chance. If it's Bolivia, very slim chance. If Iraq, very slim chance. So I think that Senegal get their guaranteed 3 points from there, maybe 1 point from Norway. And then if they lose against France, they will get 4 points. So I'm going to give them about a 65% chance of making it out of the group and maybe a 30% chance of winning the group. But I think Senegal makes it out of this group and goes into the knockout round. On a crazy day, if they're able to beat France, hey, they can even top their group. Over to Algeria. We have Algeria in Group J. They are matched up against Lionel Messi's Argentina, Austria, and then Jordan. This is Messi's World Cup farewell. And Algeria might just have to get the business from the goats. Jordan game is very, very winnable. In fact, Jordan game is a must-win game for Algeria if they are supposed to have any chance of qualifying from their group. And Austria is a very solid team. Austria is a very solid team. One of those more so underrated European national teams. I think that here, Algeria probably looking to finish third in the group, maybe snatch second place from Austria if they're able to play a very, very good game against Austria. I'll give them maybe like a 50% chance of qualifying from this group. I think they have a good chance. They just have to make sure that none of their games they're lacking. They need to be solid. Maybe get 4 points by beating the third opponent and then, that which is Jordan, and then getting a draw against Austria. They'll probably lose Argentina, but hey, shocks are all part of football, so anything is possible. And then potentially, it's not confirmed, but potentially in Group K, we would have DR Congo facing Portugal, Colombia, and Uzbekistan. The Leopards can punch their tickets in March with a playoff final win. They're not there yet, but if they do make it there, I think that Portugal and Colombia will definitely be heavy favorites to qualify from this group. very unlikely that they can beat Portugal. Portugal is not Super Eagles. Portugal, they have a team that wants to probably win for Cristiano Ronaldo, who is going to what is probably his last FIFA World Cup. And then Colombia, a good side as well. Maybe they are not as popular as they were in some, editions in the past, but they still have a very good team. I think that Uzbekistan is definitely very beatable. That is the team that DR Congo would be looking at and saying, okay, we get 3 points against Uzbekistan. Maybe we draw against Colombia. We'll take the L against Portugal, and maybe we can qualify as one of the better, second or third place teams in the group. Mbemba, Bakambu, Mayele, Wan-Bissaka, Twanzebe, they are all going to have to be so great for DR Congo. But again, maybe they can nick 4 points. And then third place is realistic for them. I give them like a 35% chance of advancing from this group. They can be a chaos team in this tournament. Dark horses to cause some chaos in their group, but still a less than 50% chance, in my own opinion, of actually qualifying from the group. Group L. Group L, Chale, Ibitinzo. This is where we have Ghana going up against England, Croatia, and Panama. A reborn Black Stars team. Mohamed Kudus, Antoine Semenyo, Ayu, Pate, and the rest of them. They will be playing against two very, very, very good World Cup teams in England. They are playing Nigeria light in England. England, of course, have Kayo Saka, Nonsoma Dweke, Eberechi Eze, and the rest of them. That is James Cole Palmer, Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham. Just stack England team. And it's not an easy group for Ghana at all. England is going to be a huge, tough game. Tough game. Croatia, one of those underrated teams if you don't really watch, but we know that Croatia always perform when it comes to these international tournaments. At World Cups, they perform, perennial semi-finalists. They're not going to be easy at all. And then Panama is a team with a lot of fight. Panama is probably the team that Ghana will be looking at and saying, we should beat Panama, get obvious 3 points, and then try to maybe snatch something against Croatia. That'll be very, very difficult for them. I think that Ghana maybe gets max 4 points, maybe more likely 3 points, max 4 points from this group. They have like a 30% chance of making it to the knockout rounds, in my own opinion. It is doable if they're able to get a draw against Croatia, but it is very, very unlikely, in my own opinion. I think that Ghana, I will be seeing you at the end of the group stage. I think so. But hey, stranger things have happened in football, so anything is possible. There you have it, man. Those are my thoughts on the groups featuring the African national team. My final advancement forecast. Look, a 48-team tournament is kind to us. So I think almost certain to qualify for the knockout rounds, I have Morocco and Egypt. Almost certain that they will be there. Very likely to qualify for the knockout round, I have Ivory Coast and Senegal. I think very likely to finish one of the top 2 spots. Fighting for the best third place spots. You need at least 4 points to fight for best third place spots. I put DR Congo, Algeria, Tunisia, and South Africa. If they play a good tournament, they can secure 4 points and they can qualify as one of the best third place teams. And the romantic long shots, where I honestly don't think you stand a chance, but let's see what happens. I have Ghana, my brothers, and then I have Cape Verde. Cape Verde, I think, probably lose all their games. Ghana, I think, probably lose 2, win 1, and 3 points probably is just not enough. I know that there are some other teams that I could have put in this romantic long shot, but I think Ghana just have it too difficult in Croatia and England, and Cape Verde just have it too way difficult. So we have at least 4, probably 6 African teams in one of 32. And I think Morocco and Senegal probably have the best chance of going the furthest. But hey, Egypt, I said Egypt have a very easy group to qualify from. I don't know if they'll be able to go all the way. We have to see the bracket when the bracket is done completely. 10 teams probably from Africa. Surprises and chaos. Chaos is exactly what Africa likes to bring to the party. So I'm really looking forward to this one. The 2026 World Cup is the biggest World Cup ever. And I'm going to be supporting. I'm not going to say it now. But you tell me, who are you going to be supporting? In fact, I'm supporting all the African teams. but maybe there's one or two that are going to be closer to my heart a little bit. And Morocco, because I think they have the best chance, so I'll give that one away. Let me know who's your African team to watch. Who is your dark horse to make a run in this tournament from, of course, Africa? And, maybe can Morocco go to the final and do even better than they did in 2022? Drop your predictions below. Make sure you smash that like button, guys. Hit the like button. It does a world of good for the channel. And of course, subscribe to the channel so that you can enjoy more Nigerian and African football coverage. This is Eagles Tracker, the home of Nigerian football, and I will see you when the whistle blows in June, unfortunately without the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Thank you.